Good morning, everybody. I'm back with another gratitude quote, this time for April 5th. And Henry David Thoreau. It's not what you look at that matters, it's what you see. The first thing I thought of when I read this quote was a quote from Mr. Rogers, who I was a really big fan of when I was a little kid. In fact, I wrote to him to tell him what a fan I was and invited him to come home and spend the night. And he was so gracious. I don't know how old I was. I wasn't just a few years old. But Mom helped me with the letter, and we saved the letter. We saved his response to the letter he sent. It was so sweet. He was so nice. He was so gracious, and he thanked me so much for inviting him over. And he said he couldn't because he had work to do and on his show, but that he was very grateful. So I've always been a huge fan. But I remember him saying one time, and this has gone around Facebook and everything, that whenever there would be something bad going on in the world, his mom would always tell him, look for the helpers. There are always people helping. And it's true, the bad times bring out the best and the worst in people. And I remember seeing this when I was a Phoenix police officer. We would get called to bad scenes, right? Like it has to be bad to call the cops, right? And I really did see the best and the worst of people. Seeing the worst of people, it really kind of brings you down. But seeing the best in people, it's really a wonderful shot in the arm for, your feeling of gratitude for the good in humanity, like really helps you see, how wonderful people can be. And at this time with a lot of, bad going on around us, there are so many people helping, doing whatever they can, making face masks, making ventilators and, 3D printing them there's a kid I saw online that's 3D printing ventilators, for hospitals, just because he can. It's extraordinary what people are doing, to step up and help people. People sending positive messages, that, maybe they can't do other things, but they can do that, helping people with, free or low cost services that are, necessary or helpful for people. People are really, really trying to help. I see a lot more people helping than I see people being, the problem, or helping spread the problem, not staying home, not taking precautions. We're just not seeing as much of that. Of course, that goes a long way to make this worse, but there are so many people helping. I'm reading great stories all the time online about what people are doing, and I see what the people around me are doing. And everybody really wants to help the rest of us get through this in a good way. So, having us all band together and help one another in any way we can is just a beautiful thing. It really is. It's such a beautiful thing. So I'm really grateful for the good in humanity. I'm really grateful for being able to see the good in humanity, because perspective is everything. If something's going on that's good but you don't see it, you're not going to be impacted by the good in it. So, try to come from a more positive perspective with anything you can. Some things it's, hard to do that. It's a bad scene. But sometimes we can see the good. A lot of my clients, as I mentioned in another daily quote video, are really seeing a silver lining to what's going on right now. And had they not seen that, their perspective on what's going on around them would be very different, be much more negative. But as it is, they're seeing that and they're moving forward and they're making it a really, wonderful part of their lives, a wonderful change in their lives. People are spending more time with their families. I have a walking path out in back of my house, and I rarely see anybody out there, but now I see people out there all the time families, walking their dogs and just, getting out in the sun. And it's been beautiful here lately. So let's take stock of what we're doing that's really good and change our perspective a little bit on what we're seeing. And, I'm not just going for walks with my family because there's nothing else to do because I'm stuck at home. I'm going for walks with my family because it's a wonderful thing to do. And I enjoy being with my family, right? We should do more of this even, when we're not stuck at home. So have a great day with a great perspective. See the good in everything around you as much as you can. And when you can't and you feel down and you feel negative about things, you know what? You're entitled to that. And it's totally understandable. So there's going to be a mixture of both. And there should be. If there's not, I'd be worried about you. Let's put it that way. We have negative emotions for good reason. And we shouldn't try to suppress those. We should acknowledge them and do whatever we can to turn things around. That's what they are. Negative emotions are ways that our brain tells us that something's not right and needs to change. So they're ways of changing that course that you're on. So take those negative feelings as information to change course, and have a change in perspective with regard to your negative feelings. What can you do to change course to get through this? And how can you see things differently that will be more helpful to you than maybe how you're seeing them right now. Just take inventory of how you're feeling, and don't try to not feel negative feelings about anything because you can't do it. Your brain's like, oh, really? Hold my beer. I'll show you how you can't do this. It'll come back to haunt you, and then it'll be a bigger problem. So, acknowledge how you're feeling, and try to shift the perspective a bit. Okay, this is information about something that's not working for me, that's not good for me. How can I change this? And see what other people are doing to pivot, to change course. So perspective is everything. Have a great day. Bye.